One day, someone asked the Buddha, and the air around that question felt bigger than the man who carried it. Evening light lay on the monastery path like thin gold cloth. A few leaves turned in the wind. Monks moved quietly with bowls and folded robes, as if the world had learned how to breathe without disturbing itself. The man had walked a long way. You could see it in his shoulders, tight as a knot, and in the way his eyes kept searching the sky for an answer that would not come down. He was not asking out of wonder. He was asking the way a drowning person asks about the shape of the ocean. His mouth formed a question that sounded philosophical, but his body sounded afraid. He stood before the Buddha, hands clasped, throat dry, and behind the words he was about to say, there was a fresh, invisible wound. Who created this world? Who started all of this? The Buddha did not respond, not with yes, not with no, not with a sermon. He simply looked at the man, steady, unblinking, like a clear lake that refuses to become ripples just because a stone was thrown. The silence stretched. It wasn't punishment, it wasn't performance, it was medicine. And as the seconds lengthened, the man began to feel something he had been avoiding, his own urgency, his own trembling, the craving behind the question, the demand that life explain itself so he wouldn't have to feel what life had done to him. He swallowed, his fingers tightened, the monastery sounds became louder because no answer arrived to cover them. A bird called once, a pot clinked softly, somewhere a breath was released and not taken back quickly. If there's no creator, then what am I supposed to hold on to? Now the question revealed its real shape. It wasn't, how did the cosmos begin? It was, how do I stop shaking inside? It was the existential wound speaking through a cosmic mask, existential dread, the fear that without a solid story he might dissolve. Look at your mind right now. What is it reaching for? The man blinked, as if he'd been asked to turn around mid-flight. His gaze dropped from the sky to the ground. For the first time, his attention landed where his body actually was. The Buddhist teaching, inspired by the suttas and the early tradition, was not built to satisfy curiosity. It was built to end suffering. He did not deny mystery. He refused to feed obsession. Because some questions are not doors to wisdom, they're curtains we hide behind. What do you feel when you ask this? Fear, like nothing is stable, like I'll disappear. There it was, not a theory, a sensation, a tightness, a heat in the chest, a mind searching for a permanent anchor in a world of changing conditions. And then the Buddha turned the blade gently, not to cut the man, but to cut the knot. You want an answer to cover your fear. The man flinched because it was true. To ask for the Creator is to ignore the creation that is bleeding right now. The Buddha didn't say it to shame him. He said it like a physician pointing to the wound instead of debating the origin of the knife. In early Buddhism, reality isn't explained by a single maker or an eternal blueprint. It moves through causes and conditions, dependent origin. When this is present, that arises. When this fades, that fades. Not fate, not a cosmic judge, just processes, interacting, like weather patterns, like fire feeding on fuel. But the deeper point was closer than philosophy. The man's suffering was being made in real time by clinging, by the thirst that says, give me something solid, give me certainty, give me mine. Tell me, if I answer, will fear end? I don't know. Then we treat fear, not theories. The Buddha could have offered a grand story, but grand stories often become new chains. They become a ceiling you stop looking beyond, or worse, they become a pillow you sleep on while the house burns. So he offered a parable, vivid and urgent, the way the mind becomes clear when it remembers mortality. Imagine a man struck by a poisoned arrow. The man listened. Even the wind seemed to slow. His friends bring a healer. The wound burns. But he says, "Wait, who shot it? From what clan? What wood is the arrow? What feathers? What bowstring?" You can almost feel it, the hot sting, the blood slick on skin, the pulse racing. You can smell sweat and iron. The man is dying, and he is bargaining for information instead of medicine. He dies still asking. The poison doesn't wait. The Buddha let the parable hang like a mirror, not a threat, an honesty. Because the question, who created the universe, can become a refined form of avoidance, a way to stay in the head so you don't have to touch the trembling in the heart, a way to chase certainty so you don't have to learn how to be steady without it. Then comes the surgical teaching, the one that doesn't flatter the ego. Notice the one who demands an answer. That sentence is quiet, but it changes everything. In early Buddhism, Anattā, no self, doesn't mean you don't exist. It means the I you cling to is not a fixed owner in experience. What you call me is a changing stream of processes, body sensations, feelings, perceptions, intentions, and consciousness arising and passing with conditions. But the suffering comes when that stream is squeezed into a fist and labeled I, me, mine. When fear arises, we say my fear. When loss is near, we say my life. When uncertainty appears, we say my ground is gone. And the mind tries to manufacture a permanent self to stand on top of the waves. But the wave cannot become a rock by naming itself rock. What you grasp as I is changing. What is changing cannot be owned. Then what am I if not that? The man asked it softly now, not like a prosecutor, but like a patient. You are experience happening, conditions unfolding. See it clearly, stop adding mine. This is where Buddhism stays pragmatic. It doesn't replace one metaphysical identity with another. No permanent soul, no true self hiding behind the curtain, no pure consciousness declared as the real you, just the honest, workable insight. Clinging to I, me, mine is a habit, one that creates dukkha like friction creates heat. And then, like turning a lamp toward the floor, the Buddha brought it down to tonight, not in 10 lifetimes, not after reading 1,000 scrolls, tonight. The truth is not a destination, it is the removal of the blindfold. And the blindfold is not ignorance of cosmic history, it is the moment-to-moment blindness to craving, tightening, and a reflex of mine. Here are 3 small practices you can do before sleep, simple, immediate, and faithful to the early path. First, breath as an anchor, not an escape. Sit for 5 minutes. Feel the breath at the nostrils or chest. Don't force calm. Just know, in breath, out breath. When fear appears, don't argue with it. Let the breath be the ground where you can stand without building a story. Second, label the grasping. When the mind reaches for certainty about the universe, the future, your identity, quietly name it, wanting, wanting. When the mind tightens around a thought, name it, clinging. This is not judgment, it's seeing, and seeing breaks the spell. Third, catch the word mine. Anytime discomfort arises, notice how quickly mine appears. My problem, my reputation, my life, my meaning. Softly experiment with removing it for 1 breath. Problem, reputation, life, meaning. Watch what happens in the body. Often the tightness loosens because the fist relaxes. These are not tricks, they are glimpses of freedom.
The mind learning it can feel without owning, know without clinging, exist without constructing a permanent someone who must control everything. The man's shoulders lowered a fraction. His eyes stopped searching the sky. He looked down at the path, dust, leaves, footprints, and somehow it felt like enough to start. The world did not need to become certain for him to become honest. So you won't answer my question? I will answer the one beneath it. Where there is clinging, there is suffering. Where clinging ends, suffering ends. That is the Buddha's ancient insistence, not to win debates, but to heal the wound. Not to hand you a universe you can hold, but to show you the hand that keeps closing and how to unclench it. He taught suffering and the end of suffering.